3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
What's up guys, just got to Vegas, got to our room here at the South Pointe. This room is really nice, the casino is nice. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but it's pretty cool here and I like it so far. Tonight we have a 6 p.m. $175 buy-in tournament. There's also some kind of pajama party. It's all a part of the WPA and the L.I.P.S organization that's putting this on. It's gonna be a really fun weekend. I'm really excited and hopefully we'll bring home a trophy.
Alright, here we go. Ladies only weekend. Every single tournament I'm going to be playing this weekend is only for the ladies. It's going to be super fun. I am ecstatic to get in there and mix it up with not only my fellow ladies, but all the WPA members who showed up as well. If you're a lady and you're watching this, go check out WPA. It stands for the Women's Poker Association on Facebook. There you'll be able to connect with all the other ladies that love to play poker, and it's a great way to get connected and involved and encourage other ladies to join this male-dominated game. After being on the alternate list for a couple levels, they finally called my name. I sat down and I was ready to play. My strategy going in today was to be fairly aggressive, so out of the gates the blinds are 100, 200, 200, and I have about 15k effective. I raised 2 red aces from middle position and the button and the small blind call. The flop is queen 5 6, 2 spades. The small blind checks to me and I bet 1100. The button folds and the small blind calls. The turn is the 5 of clubs. She checks, and now I want to put pressure on all her flush draws, her straight draws, and her hands that contain a queen. I bet 2500 because I'm looking to get money in this pot, and unfortunately she quickly folds. But we win our first hand of the tournament and we're ready to stack some more chips. We're still at level 100, 200, 200, effective stack 17,000. I raise ace-king offsuit under the gun, the small blind and the big blind call. The flop is queen jack 5, 2 hearts. We have the king of hearts in our hand. Big blind leads for 1,000. And normally, when there's a lead like this, especially in these types of events, it's usually a marginal holding. Either way, I have ace-king, 2 overs, and the gut shot to the nuts with the king of hearts in my hand. I'm not going anywhere, so I decide to raise in position and take a more aggressive action. I raise to 3,500, and she shoves for her remaining chips, which was only 5,000, so we're happy to call her all in here. I call, and the turn is a 10, but it's the wrong color 10. It's the 10 of hearts, giving her a queen high flush. However, we still do have outs to the heart on the river, but unfortunately we break out and we donate 5,000 chips to our fellow lady.
Alright, we're on first break. I have around 15k. Started a little bit short in general just because we got here a little late and late regged, so we became alternates, but Stephanie and I are still in. So far it's fun, it's a cool event. Yeah, when we come back from break, definitely have to get something going here and hopefully go on a good run, so I'll keep you guys posted.
Before the break was over, all the ladies from Arizona wanted to get a group picture together. This wasn't even all of us. There was a ton of us that showed up, and I thought that was pretty awesome. We were all repping from our World Series of Poker main event league in Arizona, which if you want to find out how I did in that and what unfolded after the league, watch my first vlog and you'll see all about it. Alright, back to the action. Actually, not back to the action yet. I didn't realize this, but they stopped the action so they could give away top 3 prizes to the lady dressed in the best pajama costume. There were some hilarious pajamas and then some others in some very questionable pajama outfits. Either way, all the ladies had a great laugh at all the costumes and it was a pretty fun time. After they gave away the awards, we were ready to get back in the action and I was ready to sit down and try to accumulate some more chips. Alright, back from break, blinds are 300, 600, 600 now. My stack is still around 17,000. There was a few people still not back from break, so we were actually 6-handed in this hand. I raised 6, 7 of hearts under the gun 2, and only the cutoff calls. The flop is 4, 5, 6 with 1 heart, rainbow board. I see bet 2,500 and she raises me to 5,000. This is the second time that she's min raised me on a board where she probably thought she had advantage. Not that that means anything in such a small sample size of hands. My hand has too much equity to fold, so I decide to rip it in there, and she thought for a little bit and then folded, so I think she was raising pretty light just to see if she could take it down, because the board should be more advantageous for her than it is for me, but that's why it's good to raise hands hands that can have coverage on almost every single board, like this hand exactly, 7-6 of hearts. So we scoop a nice pot. Alright, blinds have now moved to 400, 800, 800. Stacks are about 22,000 effective, and there's a competent player who raises to 1,600. I can tell she's a decent player based on her bet sizings and some other things that she's done, so I definitely had my eye on her, and she was the biggest stack at the table. I looked down at ace queen of spades in the big blind, and I can either 3-bet this hand or flat, and I chose to flat this time. And immediately after seeing the flop, I regretted flatting because it came ace deuce 5 with 2 spades. We flopped the absolute world. We're never going to be betting into her on this board texture, and I was happy to see that she bet 2,000. There's nothing to do here except call. The turn is a beautiful 8 of spades, so we make our flush. Whenever she was checked to, she leaned more towards betting, so I think even if I check here, she might fire again. I think her range is pretty strong on this board. I did see her eyeing her chips like she wanted to bet again, so I decided to check. And she bet 4,000, so I was super happy. Again, I'm just gonna call. I don't want to scare her off and narrow down our ranges. I can still have a lot of hands since I'm in the big blind. The river is the 4 of diamonds. It's not the best card for me to now bet and get value because a 3 does make a straight, and I have way more 3s than she does. So I want to make it a sizing where I can get looked up by an ace, and I make it 10,000. She tanked for a while, probably over a minute or two, and then finally flicked in the call, and she saw the bad news. That was a decent sized pot that we won. Now we have some ammo to open up our range a little bit and start trying to take more pots down. Alright, this is a super turbo tournament, so stacks are shallow throughout the entire tournament. It's really tough to build up a stack because as soon as you acquire some chips, the blinds go up so fast it makes it really hard. But we finally have a decent stack compared to everybody else. Our stack is definitely well above average. Early position raises all in for 3,000 when the blinds are at 600, 1,200, 1,200. The small blind flats the all in, and I look down at ace queen of diamonds, and I definitely want to realize the full equity of my hand, so I reshove. Small blind folds as I expected, and we end up winning a flip versus pocket deuces, so we can add even more chips to our stack.
I'm at the sportsbook here, but I just wanted to update you guys real quick. I have a 10-minute break. We were chipped up to about 40K. Blinds are now 800, 1,600, 16, but they're going to be going up this next level. There's a raise under the gun, 3x raise under the gun. Terry Hatcher, a WPA advocate and board member, she goes all in for 8 big blinds, and I'm in the small blind with pocket 10s. It's a little bit of a tough spot because of the under the gun raise, but I only had 18 big blinds to start the hand, and if the lady under the gun was playing really tight, not playing a lot of hands, I would consider folding there. But she was one of the more active and more aggressive ladies at the table who wasn't just raising premiums under the gun like a lot of people in these types of tournaments. I do decide to shove, and under the gun player thinks for a bit and folds, and then Terry Hatcher ended up having kings. So we lost about 10K there, and now we're just trying to chip up and get something going. We definitely need to get a double up here or get something to work, but fun atmosphere, a fun vibe, and overall just a really fun night, and I'm excited to hang out with some friends later and hopefully bink this tournament though before that.
fair, you're all more money. Dealer's gonna hit the deal. Then deal.
Well, once again, we have found ourselves in a spot that we love to see. Deep in a tournament, in the money, and nearing the final table. I love this feeling. Now I remember why I love poker tournaments. With 17 people left, I had an above average stack, and I knew I could use my aggression to my advantage. There's a lot of people playing very passively and just waiting for premium hands to shove, so I was definitely going to take advantage of this as much as I possibly could. As we all know, poker tournaments can be an absolute grind. You play all day with barely any breaks or time to eat, and not to mention, you're there playing all by yourself. It can get lonely, it can get stressful, it can get exhausting and taxing, but luckily for me, I had the best rail ever show up to my surprise. My friends must have caught word that I was nearing a final table and they came to show their support. Wait till you see who it is.
I just had the best rail ever show up. We got 14 players left. I made the money and my friends showed up and look who freaking came.
Hello, am I gonna be in the vlog?
You're gonna be in the vlog. Damon, Burton, everybody, and Lily Torrance, and Stephanie, my ride or die. Oh my gosh. Hopefully I final table this now.
With the support of my friends, I now got a new burst of energy and rejuvenation as I was trying my best to make this final table, especially because they showed up and I wanted to make them proud. Because of the structure, people were dropping like flies, and soon enough, we had actually made it to the final table. I was absolutely ecstatic to make another final table. Couldn't have come at a better time. Just arrived in Vegas today, late reg the tournament, run deep in the tournament, cash the tournament, and then make the final table. I am on a cloud, but my sights are set on that first place prize, and I'm hoping for the best. For the most part, everyone at the final table was fairly short stacked. I think the player with the most chips even had under 30 big blinds. I showed up to the table with around 12 big blinds, and one of my very first hands, after trying to discuss an ICM chop, I looked down at pocket queens, and of course I have no other option here than to shove all in, so I go all in. And Terry Hatcher, the same lady that I lost the pocket 10s versus pocket kings to earlier on, she also goes all in, and I know that I am up against a very strong hand when she goes all in. Everyone else folds, and I'm up against ace king of hearts. I'm thinking, alright, here's my time. This is the biggest flip of the tournament right here. I've never wanted pocket queens to hold up so bad than I do in this very moment right now. Unfortunately, there's no sweat at all because she hits a king right on the flop, and my dreams of winning this tournament are now crushed. She had me covered by just a little bit, and I am out of the tournament. I ended up getting 8th place, and while it stung a bit to lose such a big flip at a final table where they were discussing an ICM chop, I'm still very happy to take my cash and move on to the next day. At the end, the cards played themselves, and there was nothing much more I could do. But we're gonna move on to day 2 of this Vegas trip and hope for another deep run in the championship event tomorrow.
Alright, I woke up a little bit late today and ended up being an alternate, so I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get in this tournament, and hopefully people bust out soon so I can get out in there, but couldn't sleep last night because I was a little bit wired. Making a final table always, gets you going. It took me a while to finally fall asleep, and then I did not sleep well when I did go to sleep, so I'm just trying to push through, and hopefully we can find a bag. It's a 2-day tournament, $275 buy-in, ladies championship event through L.I.P.S, and hopefully we can bag a stack and make it to day 2. Alright, I'll try to update you guys as much as I can. It's really hard when you're not able to record video, but I'll try to keep notes and keep you guys posted.
Alright, day 2 of this poker trip is ready to start. As you can see, there's a lot of ladies here that showed up for the main event, $275 buy-in, championship L.I.P.S event. I registered 30 minutes before the tournament started, but there was already an alternate list, so I decided to go get some breakfast while I waited for my seat to open up. I was finally able to take my seat after a few blind levels, 30k starting stack, 30-minute levels. When I sat down, blinds were 300, 600, 600. Early position limps, and I raised 2 black 6s to 2,000. We go heads up to a flop. The flop is 975. She checks, and I bet 2,000. She calls. The turn is an 8, and to my surprise, she leads into me for 6,000. And of course, I am ecstatic, and there's nothing else to do here but call. The river is an offsuit ace, and she shoves for her remaining 8,000 chips. I snap call, and she had ace king offsuit, so we definitely got a big gift there. Now we have a little bit more chips in our stack, and we're ready to keep cruising along. Alright, in this hand, blinds have moved up to 400, 800 with an 800 big blind ante. My stack is about 35,000. Under the gun limps, and a lady who I have not seen play a hand yet makes it 2,600. I look down at ace-9 of diamonds on the button, and I want to fold it, but I think I can outplay this lady post-flop. I was planning on calling and maneuvering post-flop depending on what the board texture was. So I call this hand with a plan in mind, knowing that I'm probably absolutely crushed pre-flop. The under the gun player folds, so we do go heads up and I am in position. The flop is Jack, 8, 9, 3 clubs, and I actually love this flop because unless she has a club, I can now put pressure on almost every single hand that she has. She bets 2,600 and I decide to follow through with my plan and I make it 5,500. She calls and she looks very, very unsure, so I'm super happy and I know that on a lot of turn cards I can bet and probably get her to fold. The turn is the 5 of clubs. She checks to me and I bet 5,000 and she folded pretty quickly. So I was pretty happy to call with a plan pre-flop and have it work out perfectly post-flop. Definitely not a conventional bluff, but hey, in tournaments you have to play the hands you're dealt, and in this case it worked out. In this hand I raised under the gun, the big blind 3-bet me, I 4-bet, she shoves, I call, and we both flip over pocket kings. We live to see another day, we don't get flushed out. It was a pretty anticlimactic ending to that hand, but at least the table got a good laugh at it and we live to see another day. As you can see, this tournament got an amazing turnout with 317 entrants. With almost 16,000 up top for grabs, the prize pool got to $74,000. Super impressive and very cool that we got such a great turnout for this event. And with late registration closed, I'm now setting my sights on cashing this tournament. In this hand, blinds are 600, 1,200, 1,200. My stack is about 45,000. I raise 5, 6 of hearts from middle position, the small blind and the big blind call. The flop is 5, 5 queen with 1 heart. The big blind, who is somewhat loose aggressive and a tad bit reckless, bets 7,000. Definitely don't want to do anything but flat here, so I call and the small blind folds, so we go heads up to a turn. The turn is the jack of hearts. So now not only do I have trips, but I also have a flush draw. She checks and I bet 9,000. She calls. The river is a 6, giving me a full house. She bets 11,000. I don't think there's any other option here except to go all in, so that's what I do, and I go all in for about 30,000. She thinks for a while and then angrily tosses in her cards, and one of them she showed was a queen. Even though she folded, we still picked up a really nice pot. In this hand, blinds have gone up to 1,000, 2,000, 2,000, and now my stack is around 40,000. There's a raise under the gun from Chris Reed. Chris Reed is a tournament pro, and she is also a WPA advocate. It was really cool to meet her and talk poker at the table. However, she was on my left for the majority of the tournament today and the tournament yesterday, but it was a fun challenge. It folds around to me in the big blind, and I look down at pocket kings. She's seen me get out of line, she's seen me raise under the gun with hands like 4 or 5 of hearts and then call 2 all-ins. Don't worry guys, it was fine. So she knows I'm there to play. Since I only had a little over 20 big blinds to start the hand, but I really don't want her to fold and I'm happy to get the money in post-flop. So I decide to 3-bet and I make it 20,000 to go. She calls. The flop is 5, 8, 10 with 2 hearts. And with SPR being so shallow, I think my only move here is to shove. I go all in. She doesn't think very long before calling, and she sees the bad news. She actually had 7, 6 of spades, so she flopped a pair. She told me she thought I was full of crap, and you know what? Sometimes I am full of crap, so it's nice to get caught when I actually have it. So that was a pretty significant double up because we are getting closer and closer to finishing day 1 of this tournament and bagging our chips. Well, unfortunately, after doubling up with our pocket kings, we went insanely spot dead. No spots to take aggression, no cards to follow that aggression with. So we hung in there for a few levels until we finally got to bagging. So we did bag, which is always a great feeling and fun to bag a tournament. But coming back to day 2, I'm gonna have 13 big blinds in a dream. But hey, we all know how tournaments go and we can definitely spin this up. My friends Stephanie and Lily both bagged as well, so that was really fun. But now I'm starving and it's time to eat, so I headed to dinner with my friends Lily and Jamin. We went to this amazing Italian place near Summerlin. It was absolutely delicious. I had this truffle mushroom ravioli and I couldn't get enough. It was super good. I had a great time with my friends, but it was time to go back to the hotel and get some sleep for day 2 tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the morning.
We are going to crown a brand new Nevada State Ladies Poker Champion today. So, it can be one of you.
So early on in day 2, I shoved a few times with suited aces, shoved a couple times over a few limps, so I did pick up a few blinds here and there, but I never got called. So soon enough, blinds went up to 4,000, 8,000, 8,000, and now I have 60,000 in my stack. Under the gun 1 raises to 16,000. I looked down at pocket 8s and it's all in for me. She thought for a little bit and then ended up tank calling, and I have footage of this one.
You videoed that just in time, didn't you?
Players came 45 spots, which means we are on the bubble. We are about to go hand for hand. The way this works is each table is going to deal 1 hand and then stop until all hands have been completed on each table. If you have an all in and a call, dealers do not run the hand. 5 on the river. All right, congratulations, players. You are now in the money.
Alright, really quick break here. There's 41 players left in the championship event, and I am above average stack, but everyone's pretty short stacked. Be nice to make the final table and make a run here, so I'm just going to keep playing aggressive and keep taking down pots as much as I can. Alright, let's see what happens. Busted the main. I opened pocket kings with like less than 20 bigs. Big blind who has 800,000 in chips, massive stack. Definitely chip leader the whole tournament calls, so I know she's calling wide. The flop was not advantageous for us and we didn't have a diamond, so I checked. Anyway, she wasn't going anywhere. She flopped a straight draw, open-ended straight flush draw, and when the board paired on the turn, I have to go with my hand, and she had 5-3 of diamonds, and we lose.
Alright, well, as you could see, I was pretty scrambled, so I didn't even get the hand right. What happened was, I raised under the gun with pocket kings, and the chip leader of the whole tournament's in the big blind. I have no idea how she plays because she just got moved to this table, but she defends her big blind. We go heads up to a flop, and the flop is 4, 6, 7 with 2 diamonds. She checks to me, and this board isn't very advantageous for my hand. I don't have a diamond, and the board can get really, really bad on the turn for us, so I decide to check and see what happens on the turn. The turn is the 4 of spades, and she leads into us for 60,000. We don't have that much more behind at this point, so I end up shoving. and she snap calls, and she had 5-3 of diamonds, so she flopped the nuts and we were out. Either way, after that turn card, there's just no way I'm getting away from my hand, especially when she can have so many other hands. It's just really unfortunate that she flopped a straight there. With how many chips I had left, there was no other choice but to go with my hand. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how I played in that tournament. I did make some mistakes, but overall, nothing crazy. This was a great trip, and I'm really happy to end it with another cash. So on this trip, we went 2 for 2 in both of the L.I.P.S events, and I'm definitely proud of myself for that.
Back in the hotel room, packing up. It's been a great weekend. The vibe and the energy of like having an all-female weekend was like really cool. It was really fun, and I'm glad that I came. Just really fun, and obviously great to cash 2 events and come home with more than I came here with. So I will see you guys back in AZ. Thanks again for all the support.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, would you guys do me a huge favor and go all in and like, comment, and subscribe? It would mean the world to me in helping grow the channel. Also, if you're interested in playing some poker on a mobile app, head to the description where you'll find the club and my agent ID. We'll get you signed up and we'll get you playing poker in no time. It's 24/7 action, guaranteed funds, and insanely fast cash outs and deposits. I promise you'll love it. So check the description for that. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you liked it, and we'll see you guys next time. Make sure you click on that alert button so you get notified every time a new vlog comes out. You're definitely not going to want to miss this next one. I play in Brad Owen's meetup game at Gila River Hotel and Casinos Lone Butte, and we got into a really big hand together. It was really fun and awesome to meet him, so stay tuned for that next vlog. Alright guys, see you next time.